format. Data can be shared without having to export, import, move. It just, it has a, it will handle your lineage, will handle the PII detection, will handle everything in it. It's a SaaS data lake, pretty incredible. We've seen amazing momentum around OneLake. All of you have been adopting it in an incredible way. So just give you a little bit of stats here. We've seen 3 million shortcuts already being created. Every 15 weeks, you guys double the volume of data in OneLake. It's just unbelievable. Now you may ask, how does the data get into OneLake? Well, we have a bunch of techniques. The first one is through the data factory. And the data factory is the stack that allows you to connect to any data source, create pipelines, do the data transformation, and to show us what's new with our data integration and data factory technologies. I'm going to have Shireen join me on stage. Hey, Shireen.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
So we have tens of millions of users that are using our data integration.
That is correct.
And the growth has been remarkable.
Extremely remarkable. And I want to take a moment to reflect on the usage so far. So our platform processes 705 trillion rows of data per month, orchestrates 18 billion orchestration runs per month as well, and moves 430 petabytes of data. And these numbers are only accelerating. And this scale is a testament to the impact that we're all driving together.
And one of the things that I've been hearing is not only that they use it a lot, but they also want to see more professional enhancement. I hear from you guys say, hey, we don't want to have any hard-coded values in our notebooks and our pipelines and our data flows. We don't want to be able to store secret there. We want to keep the secret somewhere else. We don't want hard connections. And we've been working on really making everything dynamic and integrating with all the goodness of the secret management.
Yep, you hit the nail right on the head, Amir. So especially when you're building scalable solutions, having those hard-coded values are extremely cumbersome and difficult to scale. So today I'm excited to introduce parameterization across Fabric that allows you to bring dynamic data ingestion, exactly, really exciting, and seamless adaptability across environments. So let's take a look to see how this works in Fabric. So the first feature I want to highlight specifically is connecting to the data for an Azure Key Vault. So let's run the video really quickly. There you go. So we're going to pull secret credentials directly from Azure Key Vault. And I already have a connection to my Azure Key Vault here, and I have an Azure Blob Storage connection that requires an access key. So instead of hard coding that value specifically, I'll go to my connection settings and see that key icon right there. All I have to do, super easy. All I have to do is reference the key vault, set my secret value, and that's it. Now we can bring in secure values directly into Fabric. Really exciting.
Yes.
Yes. So now let's go to my pipeline. We have more things to show you. So this is my medallion architecture right over here, and I'm bringing my products orders through the medallion architecture at petabyte scale. So a common thing that we see, especially with dynamic pipelines, is having those dynamic inputs as we're going through environments. So over here, I have a parameter set that references my Azure SQL database connection. And if I go to my copy activity, I have a new thing underneath connection setting, which is dynamic context. So I can reference that parameter through the pipeline expression builder, and that's basically it. Now my connections are fully dynamic and easily scalable.
And integrated with the variable library.
And yeah, exactly what Justina showed, through in different environments, through my test, production, and development environments as well. So it doesn't just end there, right? So I have a data flow activity here as well. So let me open up my data flow and see how we can use parameterization to make these even more powerful. So in my data flow, I have, my transformation that I'm using through my products orders, and I'm going to group it by region specifically. So my ultimate goal is to have region-specific tables in my Azure SQL database, and instead of once again hard coding these values, I can use parameterization. So I have a parameter here, which I've defined, which is set for region, and the default value is Eastern. So my query right now defaults everything to the Eastern region, and through that filter icon in my query, I can see that I'm using dynamic input through my entire query. And I'm running everything in my SQL database. So now before I head back to my pipeline, I have another really exciting feature to announce today, and that is saving a data flow without automatically publishing or refreshing behind the scenes.
Yeah, and we know you've all been asking for this one for years. It's here now.
It's here now, exactly. So now let me go back back to my pipeline and see how I can use that region parameter in my pipeline. So if I go to my data flow activity and configure it, I'll see a new section underneath there that you can configure my parameters. So I'll have a separate new parameter for my region, and I'll select the metadata from my metadata activity. So now every single time this activity goes to my for each loop, which is around 4 times for each of my regions, which is Eastern, Southern, and Western, and Northern, which I forgot. Now when I run the pipeline, I'll see those inputs directly here. So the first is Eastern, which is my default value. I have Southern, I have Northern, I have Western. And if I go to my SQL database, I can verify that those 4 tables have dynamically been inputted in. So I didn't have to hard code anything. Everything was done through my pipeline through parameters.
Yeah, so this is just make everything so much easier to create partition data processing. So you can have smaller chunks running in parallel. It's just such an incredible
no more
way.
static connections, no more static values either.
So a lot of people using it, for example, we have Bear.
Yeah, we have Bear, who is extremely excited about our parameterization features. And they use Data Factory specifically for their citizen developers to bring that data directly into their environments and use it in a self-service manner for insights. So we're really excited to work with Bear and other customers to leverage the potential of parameterization across many different data solutions.
So bringing data through pipelines and data flows is one way to get the OneLake populated.
Correct.
But there are other ways that really makes OneLake so unique. And the first one is the shortcuts. And you guys have been using shortcuts, and we're constantly extending the reach of shortcuts. So if you have data stored in other clouds or in Azure, on premises, in storage systems like NetApps, you can just shortcut without any data movement, data duplication. Now OneLake, instead of you bringing the data to OneLake comes to your data, which is quite incredible. The other mechanism we have for data that is locked behind proprietary formats, typically in databases, is the mirroring, right?
Exactly.
And mirroring is just as simple as shortcut, just works differently. Instead of pointing data that is stored in open systems, we point to a database, and then we replicate the database into OneLake in an open format now.
Yeah.
And then we maintain the database in OneLake at real time using the CDC feed of the database. And it's so simple, near real-time updates, and it's completely free. You don't pay for the storage for that. You don't pay for the replica. You don't pay for the maintenance. It's all in the house forever, which is, people absolutely love it. But then they say, we want more. We want more sources.
Want more.
Yeah.
But before we get to sources, I have a customer I want to highlight, right? So we have AP Pension, who's using our mirroring features extensively, and they basically streamline their entire data replication process using sources like Azure SQL Database, Cosmos DB, and you no longer have to build this complex ETL pipelines, and you can get your data in near real-time replication, and you can use that directly up for insights as well. So we're excited to work with AP Pension and other customers to streamline their data replication processes through mirroring.
And AP Pension also told us, we love it, we want more.
Exactly.
More data sources. So we have some announcements.
We do. So right now we have 2 sources generally available, and we have 3 other sources in public preview today. But we have one more source that we're announcing as in public preview, and that is mirroring for Azure PostgreSQL. So we've heard this countless amount of times through customers, and we're excited to introduce this other source in public preview too.
Now, the other thing you're going to be telling us, it's great, mirroring is a great idea, but since so many of databases are locked behind virtual network firewalls, you guys have to support the ability to go get these databases even when they're protected by those virtual networks.
Yeah, a private link or a virtual network. So with that in mind, today I'm thrilled to introduce that we now support mirroring sources behind a firewall or a private link. Exactly. So now you can use that same on-premises data gateway, that virtual data network gateway, and use sources like Snowflake, Azure SQL Database, and SQL MI to bring that data behind a firewall into OneLake. And we don't just end there, right? So mirroring now, our promise to you guys is that we're going to support replicating data behind a firewall for all of our sources in the upcoming future. So stay tuned, because we have more coming.
Now, even more sources are coming. We are still busy working, getting even more. So I want to share with you a little bit of the roadmap here.
Yeah, so you saw that previous screen, right? So now in the next upcoming months, you'll see connectivity to sources for Azure SQL Server. Yep, SQL Server 2025. Oracle, and these three use that same on-premises data gateway to replicate your data into OneLake, and we also have supportability for mirroring for Dataverse.
And a lot of you are using Dataverse because you use Power Apps, you use Dynamics 365. So Dataverse is going to be kind of an item, a mirroring item in Fabric. We're working on that. You're going to hear in the next few weeks more news about that.
Exactly.
And Oracle, well, Oracle kind of, for me, it's a lot of memories. I joined Microsoft, part of the SQL Server organization, and the number one competitors we had was Oracle for many, many years. And now we are really excited to have the number one data source for mirroring that you have been requested, joining the family of mirroring.
Yeah.
And take a look how it's looking.
Yeah, let's take a look at how see this actually looks in Fabric, okay? So let's